Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. Good to see you, Bad Roxy. Good to see you, Brayherd. Good to see you, Arium. And Bad Roxy, congratulations. You have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of Windows. It is clear. You're right. 10 Windows isn't very supportive either. And 8.1, this is a bold choice, Arium. Personally, I'd go with 3.1. I think that's a nice, good number of Windows to have. I'm certainly not talking about any software, though, fortunately. We're... Bird. Hey, Love. Hey, Bacon. Good to see you. Welcome on in. We're going to keep working away in Pokemon today, working on our Snow Lodge Poké Center resort thing. I felt like there's something else I was going to say, but I don't remember. Anyway, so let's dive on into it. Okay, so first thing we're going to need is sand. So we need sand for windows. So we've been working on this. So what I want to work on today is, one, getting the sand to make the glass, and then, you know, filling in the windows. Danger pit. Anywhere that's stone, I want to replace this with dirt, so it's a more natural hillside. And we need to finish the roof portion here, so we'll need to chop down a fir tree or two. But for now, let's go to a desert. So how's everyone doing today? Dessert? But you haven't had dinner yet. Oh, I'm a rebel. I like to do things in reverse. How you doing, Kevin? Dessert can be breakfast. That is why I love breakfast for any meal of the day. It's a great excuse to have dessert as your meal, because you can have like chocolate chip pancakes with whipped cream, or French toast with lots of maple syrup or whatever. You know, it's life's greatest life hack. Nachos for dinner with waffles and whipped cream. That's an interesting dinner. You're swell. Well, I hope that swelling doesn't land you in the hospital again. Pie for breakfast is so yummy. Mood. Like, post-Thanksgiving, having some pumpkin pie for breakfast. What kind of updates do you need to do to the server, Kevin? Have you been able to figure out how to get Pokemon to be summoned higher up so that my gym's not, you know, empty? Ooh, apple pie. Apple pie a la mode for breakfast. Let's go. Not the current plan, but waffle nachos is worth considering. You know, actually, make little triangles of waffles and do a sweet savory thing. Mods in the reds. Ah. Haven't found anything for height issues? Okay, well, my gym is going to just be what it is, I guess. Maybe that was my old gym and I've abandoned it. And I'll make a new one. Stroopwafel instead of chips? Brilliant. No, I didn't mean to hit you. I'm sorry. No! Okay. I was just trying to... Foundational element within Minecraft? Minecraft. Why? It's just numbers, Minecraft. That should be enough for now. Maybe I could be like one of those Pokemon gym leaders who has a gym but is never like actually there. You have to go find him somewhere else. I think I'm going to plant more of these fir trees around. I like their height. I think they'll provide a nice backdrop, both for the Alpine Lodge and for the church. Let's grab a bunch of things of dirt. Let's replace this one layer at a time. I hear you, Enderman, and I do not care. You have to go to Town Hall to register your complaints. Maybe I should build a Town Hall so he can register his complaints. But then I'd have to listen to his complaints. So there's a new Vampire Survivors spin-off game out, chat. For those who don't know, Vampire Survivors is a kind of love letter to Castlevania. It's a very fun game. And they made a new deck-building roguelike based on it. It's pretty fun. I also find it very, I don't want to say easy, but natural, because it's basically all... It's just like Storm in Magic the Gathering. You did 100% Vampire Survivors once upon a time. Nice. Also, congrats on the 30 stream streak. Chat, do I go to the closer grocery store so I can ride my bike, or do I drive to my regular grocery store to get gas points? Ooh. Not spending much. I think bike. What's the weather like? Sunny and not warm. I think you bike to the other one so you can get points. Take a long break at work too. See? It's a win, 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 win. Imagine biking anywhere. Not in this city. I have seen how the delivery driver or the delivery guys on bikes behave. I do not want to be in the same bike lane as them. Your city of Redacted is pretty bikeable. And, like, New York is bikeable. Like, there's basically bike lanes everywhere. It's just the people using those bike lanes are scary. And aggressive. Where's my scaffolding? There it is. So we'll need scaffolding. We'll need sticks. Which we have plenty of. Bike lanes are very basic infrastructure. They do very little combat aggressive drivers. Yeah, well, the aggressive people I'm talking about aren't even drivers. They're other bikers. Hello? Kevin, I would like to report a bug. Is it not doing it because I don't have enough durability in the axe? Is that it? Let's try with a brand new axe. Flying type tree. No, there's just a glitch happening. Kevin! Kevin! chop down this tree the old-fashioned way. Oh, it's very high up. Hashtag just the best. How tall is this tree? There we go. Hey, Salsaman! Oh, that was the bottom of the tree. Hey, Craig. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's... Oh no, it's not even... Wait, oh, no, that was something else, okay. These are fur, right? Yeah, okay. It's hard to see in the rain. Gonna have to chop down another fir tree. This could be a problem. Okay, that's Dark Oak Logs. By the way, I stole this flag from a Poke Center. Because I was like, I could make one. Or I could take one. I was thinking of adding a crossbeam like this. It's just a little touch. We might add one to the rooms as well. We'll see. replace those with dirt. Congrats on the 10 stream streak. Grab those. Wanna grab... I have way more glass than I thought I did. That's okay. We also need to decorate these rooms at some point, but... And give them doors. They would probably be good to have doors. So each of them has this nice little nook. I'm thinking we can put a desk here. We can put the bed at the windows. Oh, I also made these statues, if you hadn't noticed. I thought they felt appropriately Poke Center. There we go, that's the lobby finished. Now let's make some glass panes. 160 should be enough. You know, since this is all Pokemon themed, and we're calling this the Snorunt Lodge because it looks like, you know, a Snorunt. Each room should have a Pokemon name. Maybe one of them could be the Abomasnow room. Homebrewed Morrowind port to Vita just released. What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. What? The Vita. Buddy has modded Stellaris to make it Star Wars. Star Warsilus. Okay, Vita people. I was not familiar with your game. I apologize to all 5 of the Vita owners out there. Okay, let's see if... Okay, desk. What would be a good material? Dark oak would probably be a pretty good desk. Look at all of this. Actually, dark oak doors might be nice too. We need 3, so there we go. It's a side table. What else do I need? Oh, no, don't. Oh, it needs strips. Oh, and chests? That's weird. It's a nightstand. There we go. I knew there was something I was forgetting to do. No, I looked into this. Today is the Feast of St. Catherine of Siena. That's more like it's not a desk, that's more like a nightstand. I will reuse these as nightstands, but that's not what I'm looking for. Catherine of Siena would retroactively be called a Third Order Dominican, meaning she was a lay woman who sort of followed the life of Saint Dominic, or the example of Saint Dominic, without being a formal nun. Although technically it didn't exist when she was alive. What she was part of was folded into them. Anyway, she's responsible for ending the Western Schism and basically going to the Pope and being like, get out of Avignon, because the Pope was hiding in Avignon inside of Rome. And was like, go back to Rome where you belong. So, she is, and her burial is at Santa Maria sopra Minerva in Rome. So she was a theologian and a delegate, and a very... I want to say, like, effective, because that sounds weird, but, like... She was very persuasive. She scolded the Pope when it was due, yeah. and sometimes we all need that in different ways, but... Maybe I just use these. Yeah, I think that's more of what I'm looking for, and then... have some chairs. So, don't be afraid to use your prophetic voice. There we go, and then we'll have bed. Oh, this is fine. This is fine. The bed won't be perfectly centered, but it'll be centered off the window. And that's good enough for me. forgot I had to put the chair in first. Now this is the one where it won't be centered off the window or the room. Although I could just make this a single bed. Chair! But I won't. Yeah, the furniture mod is really nice for decorating. Now, one of the problems with making beds is I don't really have a bunch of wool. And I don't have a sheep farm. Made a little vanilla Minecraft chapel. That's awesome. Gave proper chairs. Nice. Yeah, I never really found a good way to make a proper cathedra here. There's just... the way the mods interact and things. I do have 3 chairs, so you can have your presider and 2 deacons, but... you can sit on the stairs. Well, there are pews. Although, to be fair, historically speaking, pews and chairs were not a thing found in churches. They were a thing you brought to church if you wanted or had one. Okay. Ah! Stupid danger hole. Let's try to chop down this short one. Okay, now the mod is working. Which I'm happy about, but I'm also confused. Let's show St. Matt's fabric folding chair. Well, I mean, if you look at pictures of, well, not necessarily, well, some pictures, but paintings of Roman church, like specifically in the city of Rome, of a certain era, like, yeah, there's no chairs. So what you would do is you'd show up and you'd pay the sacristan if you were of a certain class. And the sacristan would have a few folding chairs for you. Or if you were of a slightly lower class, you'd bring your own. If you were an even lower class, you just show up and stand or sit on the ground. So, you know, any semblance of, like, neat rows and columns. Like, no, that wasn't a thing. I mean, even now, St. Peter's, they'll just put out chairs when they have large masses, but otherwise it's pew-free. Bring a little hammock chair. Nice. Get rid of pews in the offertory. No, the offertory is a beautiful and important part when we understand it correctly. You know, admittedly, the way we live it out and exercise it, yeah, maybe not, but... No, I mean, some people have that opinion, and it's entirely valid to have that as an opinion. But what the offertory is spiritually is the opportunity for us to unite our sacrifices to the gifts that will be offered at the altar to become the one sacrifice of Christ. there are documents of papal liturgies very early on wherein this is looking really nice. This is looking good. Let's work on the berries. Where the people would bring a small piece of bread and a small vial of wine, and there'd be a deacon at the door of the church with a sack and a big cup, and you poured it in. You poured your little vial in the cup, you threw your piece of bread in the bag, and that was used to celebrate the Mass. And oh no, the Money Party Mass. I mean, I'm a priest and sometimes still feel that way. Do I have a... Yes, okay. So we'll need a hoe. I need to go get some buckets. We got a water feature to build as well. And we actually need to go get a bunch of berries anyway, so... Table wine! Basically. I mean, for a long period of time, and this is still on the books, in the germ, you can use a straw. Oh, Grandma and Grandpa's wine's turned to vinegar. Oh no! Let's try to plant 2 of various berries. I don't think I have every berry, but... I know where we can get some. Cherryberry. More cherryberries. Glowberries, but those are not Pokemon berries. Persims. Those are more Blook. Tried having a little chili stand out in the West Texas for a while, but it didn't last long enough. He lost the sense of smell and couldn't tell how things are bad anymore. Dubious of food from elders of a certain advanced age. Oh no! Oh no! I forgot to grab the buckets. Oh, buckets. I hope these don't need water right next to them. I don't think they do based on what I've seen on my friends' areas, but... Oh no, me buckets. You know, I just saw a thing the other day about, oh no, they're stealing my bucket. Made me feel very nostalgic and also very old. Of course I remember I was born terminally online. You are old. Oh, thanks. Why do polar bears know what apples is? No, I vaguely remember not having internet as a kid, but that did not last long. My dad has always been a computer tech guy, so... where do I need to go? I need to go... probably Cairnwick? Yeah. Had dial-up. Yeah, we had dial-up for quite a while. It's, you know, there are reasons why I do have the sound. Also, I think it's a funny rating sound because you can be like, oh, you're connecting. Oh, no. Rocks Monster. Cat's black. You know, that's... Played an online message to a girl using dial-up. Yeah, he did. Loved being on the phone when the dial-up started. That was always fun. Oh no, I'm going the wrong direction! Fewer Zooms and group discussions, I imagine, at that one. In that master's program. That's probably a good call, Roxy. We do have Aspers. Oh, that's a giant goat. Look at the size of this goat. He's so big. Skype was there, but only if you could afford a T1 line. Distance Horizons render has encountered an exception. I've never seen that before, and it just made the world go away for a bit. We had Babiri. We didn't have a Yappa. We had a Guav. Definitely didn't have Enigma. Don't think we had Mago. Leppa. Biggie. There are a lot of berries. Sir, that's a banana. Wikiberry, can I ask it anything? We had Hoppos, but we'll grab those just in case. I'm gonna sneak into Hal's old house and take a nap. I hope he has a bed up here. It's a restroom. That sounds like the Wild West of the internet. Still want to meet friends IRL. Mel! Mel did not have an internet safety course at school, apparently. Well, I guess I can't knock it too much since we actually did meet up. That's fair. Yeah, this rainstorm is huge. It looks so sad without the mountains in the distance. That's also 2 mods I broke in one day, so, you know, good job me. Yeah, no, a lot of digital spaces like that have formed lasting friendships, and I think those are real and valid. But it's also one of those where you look back, you're like, wow, that would not do that again. Oh dear, my inventory is full of berries. Why are there so many types of berries? So as per normal look, repair. I like that I got the achievement, an unexpected result after an unexpected error. I choose to believe these are related. I already have raspberry somewhere. I have roust, persimmon, layapa. No, I did not just have plain raspberry, which is different from a raspberry, because there are just straight up raspberries in this game that the person can eat. It's funny, Mel. Okay, I'm gonna make this one a little different. Make it 3 wide. 'Cause then... Oh no, that doesn't work. Oh no, it does. It does. There we go. You also have used Grandma as a pet name, but for a literal pet. Let's go get our buckets for real this time. Go for state day. I hope it goes well. Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. Okay. 2 buckets there. Usually like 3 buckets. I feel like that's a good amount. And I can fill them up here at my sink. Go, big family. Oh, here has his big brother. Oh. Saying I read this is grass and dirt. I was wondering if it was a charge. Yes. What? 1 grass and 2 dirt, please, to enter the Minecraft stream. How you doing, Jam? There we go, nice little water feature. Want to put something on this one platform in the middle. Maybe a rose bush. deal with it. We'll see how these berries do. I think they'll grow. And weirdly enough, that's it other than the beds. So let's see what we can do about those. There's a lot of villages here in this desert region. Maybe we could go scour some there. So maybe go to Calmage's place and go south. We're building a nice little village here. We've got a church, a library, a cabin, Alpine Ski Lodge / Poké Center. I should probably add some signs to the steps or the desks at the Poké Center, but I also need to figure out where Kai's base is, because she's one of the gym leaders, and also I haven't gotten a full tour of her base, and it looks pretty cool. Yemeni coffee. I wonder what makes Yemeni coffee different. So I can basically go southwest by south, I guess. Okay, this is a little farther out than I thought it was, I'm not gonna lie. But we live here now. Don't think there's another village in between here and there. So we're having an adventure. Also, without the distance horizons, it's a little harder to tell where I am and where I'm going. Yemen is the birthplace of coffee. If you don't subscribe to Ethiopia, well, I do in fact subscribe to the Ethiopia theory, because the word coffee is actually just a universal loan word from Ethiopian. I'm going to reset this to see if that fixes the mods. It's loading. It's loading. It's thinking about loading. Did I just break the server? Oh, nope, we're back in, but yeah, Distance Horizons is just not working right now. That must be a server issue. Yemeni coffee preparation includes hots brewed with spices like cardamom, saffron, and ginger. I do like cardamom. For the record, I do like cardamom. It's just, I don't like just cardamom. Player thought NVIDIA made up cardamom. I believe it. I mean, there's the whole gazebo incident after all. Coffee, cardamom, and cream puff. Razi Mufawar. Sounds tasty. Oh, that's a curse. A golden hoe with efficiency 5. Ow. I was watching them fight. Cardamom sugar thumbprint cookies with fig and honey jam. Oh, that sounds so good. Maybe not land on the creeper. You guys need to know bear or something? Excuse me? Excuse me? Quicksand? I would like to register a formal complaint. No, this is pillager camp. Right, this is the pillager camp that's right next to a just normal village. Bring your tent. Oh, the dog would love that. He said with heavy sarcasm. Their dog does not like people. Wait, no, it gets cold there. Yeah. Out of this bed. I need it. Ooh, a record. Or no, a TM. Sure, I'll take eggplant seeds. And rice. Maybe I can plant the rice. I don't know. Roxy, it's a dry heat, he said with very heavy sarcasm. Drier than San Antonio? Yeah, that's saying. Isn't San Antonio pretty humid? And there's a broken gate here. Wow, there's just like everything going on in this area. Okay. There's a bigger village that way. Poor Brenna was not ready. Really? She comes from Atlanta. Atlanta is not exactly a dry climate. Oh. 2 more green beds. So we either need 1 more teal bed, or cyan bed, or 2 more of another color. Hey, look, 2 more of another color. When I went to Costa Rica, yeah, well, ooh, Costa Rica especially, ooh. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah. Calmage's place is the closest. Hey, Maximus. And there's more village just in the hillside there. That sand is very pink. Is that the Barbie desert biome? Stop and take a rest. I mean, Grand Prix is cracking down on influencers. What do you mean? Like, not letting them attend, or like what they're allowed to film? Like, I'm happy to hear that in general, but like, I'm just curious how. Batons? Oh dear. Monopods, tripods, selfie sticks, audio recording devices, and video cameras will not be permitted inside the Autodrome. Wow. Good job, Miami. Consumer grade lenses no longer than 6 inches. Oh, interesting. See, when I was in Monaco, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. A number of folks around me, I would not say looked influencer types at all. But they did have pretty nice camera rigs. Nothing like outrageous, nothing like, you know, the telephoto lenses that are like 2 feet long or whatever. I wonder how many of those would have fitted within those rules. And no one was obnoxious, fortunately. You know, it was actually pretty chill. I mean, it was practice, so it wasn't the race, but... Well, prayers for you in your healing, Maximus. I pray that you find the support and people to walk with you in your journey of healing. And I think what you're doing is a good thing. You know, making reparations. Yeah, I guess just pray for my health. Not that nothing is wrong, for the record. Nothing is wrong. But, you know, we can always use prayers for health. You know, if you want to pray for someone, you're never not sure what to pray specifically for, their health. It's always a safe one. How's your dad doing, by the way, Mel? I haven't heard any updates as of late. It's okay. Ay. All those beds and mother sleeps in the rain. Well, I'm not staying in the inn. This is my bed. This is my respawn point. Let's make some maple signs. You need money for the inn. No, I own it. What do they call these? Like the nurse? Is it a nurse station? I guess in the Poké Center. Like where you go to be like, heal my Pokemon. I'm gonna call it the nurse's station. Cage 3 crit this week. A video of you nearly one-shotting. Can you post in the Discord? Absolutely. Check in. Hotel. Check in. Focus center. I can type. Whenever I was on Sean's podcast, and one of the questions he asked is, what word do you misspell the most? And I had to say ministry, because I've been typing it so much for young adult ministry in a box, and I had just, I would type too quickly and it would always come out mincitry. Courtyard. Ampersand. Berry garden. Is there a watering can? There is, but it's all decorative. Okay. I need some Pokemon, snow Pokemon names. He said is the ice type. I had to pull that one up so I could spell it correctly. Articuno, that's a good one. Articuno. Glaceon. I might call it the Avalugg room, because I can see a Avalugg right in front of me, but also it's pointy like an Avalugg. There we go. I think that's everything. I think we're done with the Poke Center. Snorunt. What's the bug with the funny runny nose? Oh, that one, yeah. Well, the whole place is called the Snorunt Lodge. Yeah, you're thinking that there's like a bear. So I need to make a sign. Welcome to the Snorunt Lodge. Because it looks like Snorunt. And I actually need to make a pasture block. It do though. It do. Pasture block. So we need planks, wheat, hopper, and a computer. Because then we could have the Snorunt actually like walking around in the lodge. Snom and the Bear. That's a great band name. I think it's smooth stone to make a PC. Yes, yes it is. Okay, now we need wheat, which I have up by the library. Cupchew, yes. I knew which one you were thinking of, and I could picture it, but I just can't remember his name. I still need to make more books for the library, but to make more books, I need leather. Actually, while we're up here, I wonder how the automated sugarcane farm is going. Going pretty good. Go, pasture block. Now, where do we... Probably here-ish would be good, I think. So we have to put Snorunt in. Bring Snover with us for now, I guess. There he is. He's the manager. But yeah, the whole thing is designed in an alpine style, but also kind of like SnowRun, the triangle, like even the courtyard, triangle, the buildings of the little lodges, triangles. Sure. This is continental breakfast open. SnowRun. Meaning SnowRun. Oh, SnowRun. Can you say that? Is there a pool on the premise? No, but there is a water feature. Also, I forgot to put windows in here. Oh, now he's helping check people in. That's cool. You're inspecting the premises? What a kind Pokemon manager. SnowRun. Leads by example. That's why we hired him. Oh, Gengar more based on the Gen 1 sprite? That would be cool. Alright, tell you what, chat. I need a quick bio break. So don't go anywhere, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. So take a chance to get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water, do what you need to do, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. So yeah, that's our little lodge completed. We have a nice little fir forest growing. Looks like it would be a pretty cozy place to stay, actually. You can just walk to Mass. Nope, not you, Durant. Durant. Oh. Magneton just chilling out up here. How you doing? I want to come up here to the roof of the church to get a nice aerial view. Yeah! I like it. I think it turned out really nice. Now I need something else to build. I did not have my next build planned because I did not think that this would happen. I legitimately did not think I would finish this today. Hey, look, berries are growing. What would Bree and Flame have been up to? Let's go check out what they've been building. Or are they not Pompeii? It's Orion. So they had been building a nice little cafe out here. Now it kind of looks like Pizza Hut. Like the red roof with those angles, like only when you're flying in. At this angle it's not so much, but also wow, they have all the berries and I don't think I have these berries. There are so many berries. Why are there so many berries? What are you supposed to even do with the berries? I don't understand. Irish flag, Mexico flag, America flag, Canada flag. It's a bad fun because he's a fire. I'm sorry, is ordering at their cafe a trap? Like... Okay, no, you'd land in water at least, but like... Why do they have an oubliette at their cafe? Bree, Flame, why? Their cafe looks so good, though. How else do you get ghosts? Oh, you're trying to get ghost-type Pokemon? Is that it? What's wrong with oubliettes? It's a totally normal thing to have. Not right in front of where you order at a restaurant. No. Oh, I love the little curtains. Those are so cute. What the heck is an oubliette? Oh my goodness, look how small this fanfy is. An oubliette is a room where you put people to forget them. As described in Labyrinth. It's a kind of prison cell. And a good magic card. One black. Target creature phases out when Oubliette enters the battlefield and remains that way until Oubliette leaves the battlefield. Well, and Luke Skywalker got dropped into it as well, but that one has a Sarlacc, a Rancor beast, so I don't know if that quite qualifies as a normal oubliette. You updated a few decks. Uh-oh. There's storage area. It's a barn. I love that it has a hayloft. She chose down. She chose down? Trying to figure out how to maximize box play. Of course you are. Perfectly normal things for your friends to say. Oh, this must be a breeding area. Because here's a Ditto. And some pasture blocks with eggs. Cool, so that's what Bree and Flame have been up to. I want to make a stacks deck on Arena at some point, but I'll have the wild cards, and I don't think they even have the card base for it. I like the one with the clowns. Send in the clowns. Also, I hate to admit this live on stream, but I figured out why Brosif's city is named Night Dance. There's a fort there. Fort Night Dance. Fort Night Dance. I was in his chat when he said that, and I could not say with enough capital letters how upset I was. That joke has been in your DMing notes for months. I'm so mad there are no original thoughts. We share the brain cell. All of us. The internet has done this to us. The brain cell is flossing. I don't think the kids even know what flossing is anymore. It's so out of date. Wait, was that Imakuni? Oh no, it's just... They're off. There's like a musician who's a big fan of Pokemon. He actually shows up in the Pokemon trading card Game Boy games, named Imakuni. And he wears like a black bodysuit with like little bear ear nubs. So when I saw that, I thought that's who it was. I know Brosep's been expanding his gym, so why don't we go check that out? Because I'm just looking at the clock and I'm going, I don't feel like starting something right now. I also have no idea of what to build next, so I'm going to have to think on that. Maybe it is the town hall. Brosep's graveyard looks great. Lavender Town! Ebenezer Scrooge. Jacob Marley, Robert Marley. Here lies Sharp, Royal Composer. Here lies Flat. Sharp and Flat. I get it. Sir, you are big. Here lies Vaporeon. I'm guessing he lost his Vaporeon at some point. Ow. Aw, the Waynes. Jacob Bob Marley. Joke was best on Kingdom of the World. Can't say I've seen it. Aw, Ben Parker. Uncle Ben. Here we are all who gave their lives in the Great Pokemon War. So not aware there was a Great Pokemon War. So I think Cubone's mom, it did. It also said she no longer has it going on. Mausoleum and Night Dance's Ghost Ground type gym. Oh, dang, he did make this bigger. This looks so good. Look at all the like urns and coffins in the niches. Like, yeah, where the great war that happened before Gen 1. I am, but it's still just not a thing to include. This door to the Nether. Is this still the blood room? Yep, this is still the blood room. I hate it. Monkey. This is directly underneath the graveyard itself. There are a couple hidden exits out of here. Oh, there's that too. Oh wow, he's expanded the whole mausoleum complex. Which Pokemon have the most war crimey powers? Not a question I expected to have been asked today, so I'm not necessarily prepared to give a full answer. Tanatine would not bring my psychic types here. Yeah. Why are there a bunch of armor stands in there? Is that a shiny Cubone or a Marowak? Dragapult is sleepy. Yeah, is this like an Alolan or is this like... What is this variation of this Marowak? It's awesome. But what is with all of the armor stands? Okay, looks like it's not built out this way. This is to the well. You can get in via the creepy abandoned well. It's like the Terracotta Arby. I guess I'll have to ask him. Yep, and this has a matching mausoleum on this side as well. Although this looks like it's the one in progress. You know what? Maybe it's better to not ask questions sometimes. Brosif? Oh, I like the little... I'm gonna call this the shed, given there's a mowing unit and a secret passage. And I'm coming in for a landing. So what should we build next, chat? Like, what would you like to see built? Because one thing I could do is I could do like a town hall in like the style of like a... Oh, what's the term? Kind of like, you know, a U.S. government building, you know, tall pillars, and it's not Gothic, it's... Is it romantic? Hey, dear Hope. What's that architectural style? We could build something like a colonial style. That could be interesting. Which would be kind of wood with some marble. Brutalist? No. I will veto Brutalist because I hate Brutalist. Neoclassical. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Thank you, Brayherd. Post-Baroque. I'm post-Baroque when I get my paycheck. Be broke after completion. Ah. See, we both made the pun, but kind of in opposite directions. But we could build it like here. This is a pretty nice open space. You get a paycheck, you get an allowance. Well, okay, yeah, but that doesn't make the dad joke work. Oh, hey, look, there's the score bunny. Ow, the score bunny's mad. Problem is I don't really want to use... I don't want to use... Okay, Powder Snow, since it's half effective, this might not just... Yes, okay, good. That didn't just kill the score bunny. Cinderace is up there as your least favorite starters. Cinderace. I don't remember Cinderace. Okay, if we don't catch this score bunny. Are you serious? It's at 5% health. Gets a little grim. They dropped raw rabbit. Oh, Cinderace is the final evolution of Score Bunny. Ah. Yes, I know. Yes. I thought it was one of the, like, first evolution starters of a starter. And that's why I was like, I can't place it. Why are you so small? Anyway, I need more Pokeballs. Oh, actually, this is perfect. Because I need Black Apricorn to make the Ultra Ball. All these apricorns, and I only make Ultra Balls. Oh, I also need yellow. Okay. Was Pokemon Unite the MOBA? Or is that the fighting game? The MOBA. Oh, okay. The only one you've ever liked. Well, it's one more than me. I have no helmet. Let me fix that. Remember, there's a guy in college, floor above me, who used to play Dota religiously. And one day when it was down, he was very upset. And he resorted to trying League of Legends, which was still pretty new at the time. There's so many good custom games for Warcraft 3. I remember playing a ton of the tower defense. The tower defense ones. What was this move I got? Stuffed cheeks. Oh, well, that's not very useful, but I have it now. These combis just keep spawning, but I think they're confused and they don't know where they're supposed to go. Because, like, this one's covered in pollen, and so is this one, and just refuses to go into the hive. I wonder. Nope, not R. How do I... There's like a way to view my Pokemon. It's you. Okay. The manager. Now we have the manager. I make myself happy. And having named the manager, I think that's the perfect place to call it for the day. We did good work finishing terraforming and finishing up the whole building, the glasswork and the roofing. It looks so good. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So we will call it there for the day. So thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow as we're playing more Aria of Sorrow. Monday, Kingdom Hearts 3. Probably actually beating it and moving into the DLC. Tuesday, playing Keeper. Keeper, a game about being a lighthouse, bringing light to the world. And then Wednesday, more Minecraft. We'll figure out what to build. If not the Town Hall, then something else. Poke platelets. Yes. Anyway, Thanks so much to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. One of the suggested streamers in the Minecraft category just had the tag. Gonna throw you on over to Yuha. He's playing Pragmata. So go have fun with him. Dreki just in time. Raid call is Father Raid. If you can spell applesauce, it's just A. You can call it Anyway, raid call is either Father Raid or We have fun around here. Anyway, take care. God bless.